Stampers, this is Dawn from DawnStampingThoughts.net, and today we're going to make this layer of this card using the In the Meadow stamp set. We're going to use this mountain and these two trees and then a little bit of the grass to build this scene for this card. And this is one that I just finished making so I could remember how I did it. I had so many questions on how I did it, and then also people asked me to make a video. So that's what we're doing today. We're just gonna go ahead and make this piece. So let me give you the measurements of the pieces. Okay, so the Whisper White is cut at 2 5/8 by 5. The Crumb Cake is cut at 2 3/4 by 5 1/8. And then the Early Espresso is cut at 2 7/8 by 5 1/4. And those are the layers for this piece on this card. So if you want to use this for a card, that's the measurements that I used. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to lay a piece of scrap down. And the 3 color ink pads we're using are the Basic Black for stamping the images. And then for the water, we're using Soft Sky. And then for the sponging on the background is with the Early Espresso. And we're using the Sponge Daubers, Early Espresso, and the Soft Sky. And before we get started, I wanted to show you, I went ahead and punched out just a piece of cardstock with the 1 3/8 circle punch. And what I did is I took the two-way glue and I just added some to the back side of the cardstock so it's sticky like a Post-it note. And you want to let that dry. And then once it's dry, it just should be just very tacky, kind of like a Post-it note. So this is going to make our sunset when we get to that part. So you want to do that ahead of time. And then of course, to make the image pop is the white gel pen. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp. We're going to use the mountain first. Let me move these out of the way. Okay, so we're going to stamp our mountain first. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it more to the right hand side of the piece of cardstock. And remember, you want to leave a space up at the top for your moon. Okay, then we're going to take the tree part. Okay, and we're going to stamp this right about there. I want it a little bit higher than the mountain, and then I'll still have some area to put for some grass. Okay, all right, so now this is where you're going to add the grass to the whole border part of this card. So then how to make the grass longer is you're just going to stamp it once and then just go back in and stamp it again so it's a little bit longer if you like that look. Or you can just stamp it with once and be the height that you want for that. Okay, so there's our grass. And that's pretty much all the stamping that you're going to do for this layer. So then of course you want to make sure your ink is dry. I should have used black StazOn, but the archival worked fine with me the first time. So I just want to make sure it's dry. Okay, so the first part that I did was I added the Soft Sky for the water, because when I looked at this scene, this could actually be a field, which you could color that in green, but to me it looked like a river in front of a mountain and behind these trees. So that's what I went with the water. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in the Soft Sky just in this area right in the back in the middle. And I'm working in a circular motion with my dabbers. There's really no right or wrong on how to do this. It's just adding the ink and how much you want what the look is that you're going for. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our little moon with the cardstock with the 2A glue on the back. And I positioned it right over to the right so there's not really covering up any of the images that we stamped. Now we're just going to go ahead and fill in all the white space with the Early Espresso. So now when you're adding the ink, just keep in mind that it's the more ink, the better. So and if you don't like the more ink, then you can just go a little bit lighter on your sponging. But I do like to go darker around the edge where the stamped images are and around the mountain, and then get lighter as I get closer to the edge. But it's whatever you want. Okay, so you'll notice that there's a line right here. I want to kind of blend that in. So I'm going to take my sponge dauber and I'm just going to lightly go across the water, and it's going to kind of make it look muddy, but I kind of want that look because I don't want that harsh line right there. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did for that layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this backing of this moon part. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add some dazzling diamonds with the 2A glue pen. And then just add your dazzling diamonds. So beautiful. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my white gel pen, and for the mountain, I'm just going to follow all the stamped image lines on this mountain here. And I'm just using a light hand to add the white gel pen. It's almost like scribbling, but it's really looking like the moon is hitting that mountain there, is what the illusion is what you want to go for. And then I'm just going to dot the tree for the leaves. And then I'm going to color in some of the white on the tree where it's left white. Okay, and then for the grass, I'm just going to do the same thing as I did for the mountains. I'm just going to kind of follow the blade of the grass and just use a light hand and flicking my gel pen up the grass little stems there of the blade of the grass. And with me adding the ink and then putting the white gel pen over the top of the ink, the white gel pen isn't really going on like it normally would, like a solid bold line. And that's what I want. I don't want it to be a precise line. I just want it to be kind of jagged, just like that. Okay, so then you would take your crumb cake piece and then layer that over top of that, and then your early espresso piece. Okay, and then here's the other one I made, and then here's the one that I posted on my blog. Okay, so I hope that helped you. We'll see you later. Bye.